Okay. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. Trucking with David H on Facebook. I'm going to do a live after this, but I figured I better get this on story time before I forget the details. Anyways, as some of you may watch the live yesterday when I was sitting at the TA in Laredo getting a alignment and a PM done. What a F-fest that was. A waste of money, a waste of time, lack of sleep because they kept me up all night. I got there at 5:30 in the afternoon for a 6 o'clock appointment check-in time. They're running about 3 hours behind. That's fine, I'll wait. They get me in around 9:30ish, and first I walk up there and the guy's like, the stuff you need is going to take a while. I don't know if we can do it. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about, bro? You just had me sit. I wouldn't have stopped here if you told me you couldn't do it. I go, what are you talking about? You can't do it. At least can you do the alignment? Let me see. Let me talk to the mechanic. So he talks to the mechanic. He comes back in. Yeah. You're going to go to Bay 2. Not now. Probably in about an hour or so. He can do it. And then I got another guy coming in later that can do the oil change. I said, okay, cool. So I wait about another hour and a half. They call me, they put me in door 2, whatever it was, backside of the building, and I wait. Let me turn the APU off for a minute because I don't want to be doing this video and you guys can't hear me. So I wait. The guy comes out. Okay, you guys can't sit in the truck. I'm going to do your alignment, yada, yada, yada. I show him how the tires are wearing, the steering wheel crooked. Oh, well, to straighten the steering wheel is going to be extra. It's like $50, he tells me. Okay, that's fine. As long as you're going to straighten the steering wheel. Yes, we'll do it. So, it's like, that was at maybe 10 o'clock. So, about maybe 11:30, midnight-ish, he's done. Everything's good to go. You're good to go. Let's move you over to the oil change bay. Move me over to oil change bay. Fine. The guys will be here in a little bit to change your oil. It's not me. It's a different guy. I say, okay, that's fine. So I wait about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and I finally go inside the shop and talk to the gal up front there. Forgive me, I'm dying. I need sleep. I'm dying over here. I go in there and I ask the gal, because now it's none of the day people are there. It's all night people. Ma'am, first I'm sitting there and she's talking to some guy on the phone, a customer. And he's asking questions, and she's huffing and puffing, doing the, unprofessional as all hell. Not just to be doing this in front of me, standing there waiting for her, but to the guy on the phone. He finally gets a little frustrated and, okay, fine, thank you, ma'am, thank you, yada, yada, yada. Sir, what can I do for you? I'm here to get a PM done. And they said someone was going to come out, and it's been a long time. No one's come out. I don't have any PMs. She's looking through her sheet, looking through all, the clipboard up there. Nothing. She turns around, and on the counter, there's my paperwork. Because it's in the middle of work. They did the alignment, now it needs the PM. So she's kind of bitchy about that. So then she asked me, well, what kind of oil do you want? I said, well, I want semi-synthetic, whatever, the truck's supposed to use, but it's semi-synthetic, and it's Dalvac. Oh, well, you don't know what kind of oil your truck uses? And she said it real smart-ass and looking at me like, you don't know what kind of oil your truck uses? So I'm already tired, irritated, so on and so forth. So I look at her and I say, ma'am, I'm just a driver. I said, you're a repair shop. Why don't you know what kind of oil my truck uses? Well, it's not my truck. I said, well, can you just look on, can you just look up your records? I always get my oil changed here. Can you look up your records and see what it is? I don't have access to looking up records. Okay, fine. I've got a gallon of it in the side box. I'll go see what kind it is. So they used full synthetic on my truck last time. I didn't even realize that. It was supposed to be semi-synthetic, but they used full synthetic. So she's like, okay, we'll get right on it. About an hour goes by. The guy comes out. I can smell fuel, so I know he dumped fuel. Playing around with something. Comes to my door. We don't have the fuel filter for your truck. What do you mean you don't have the fuel filter for my truck? Dude, I've been here since 5:30 in the evening. You didn't tell me that you just looked for it now? I don't know what to tell you. But we don't have the fuel filter. I said, fine, just do the oil change. We'll just take the filter off. Oh, no, we can't. We have to charge you. It's a flat fee for the oil change for the PM. We'll have to charge you for the filter. You'll just have to get the filter done at a different TA. I'm not paying for a filter that they're not putting in, but I'm not telling the guy this. I'm irritated. I'm tired. I need to sleep. Like I am right now, I'm tired. And so I'm like, okay, just do it. Because I need the oil changed. When I go to pay, I'll tell them I'm not paying for a fuel filter you didn't put in. You're just going to have to take it off the bill. Not realizing the incompetent people I'm dealing with. So, at this point. So, about another hour goes by. The guy's dingleberrying around doing stuff. And now he's, under the truck for a minute. Comes back out and, does this thing. And he's gone for a while. And finally, she comes up and waves me out of the truck with this smirk on her face. So I know something's wrong. So I go out there and she says, we can't change your oil. Why can't you change my oil? Your oil thing is on too tight. My oil thing's on too tight? What oil thing? So she talks to the guy. And meanwhile, I have nothing against this. But the mechanic barely speaks any English. So she talks to him in Spanish, looks at me and says, yeah, the thing, it's on too tight. And I'm like, well, what thing? She talks to him in Spanish again and just says, I don't know, the thing that they underneath the truck for the oil. I said, so you're probably talking about the drain plug is on too tight. Yeah, I said, so what am I supposed to do? She goes, you got to take it to the dealer and have them change the oil. So, you guys changed my oil the last time, which means you guys put it on too tight so you can't get it off today. So, why do I have to pay $800 at the dealer for a $400 oil change? I don't know. You have to just talk to the manager then tomorrow. There's no one here. I said, okay, that's fine, I guess. She goes, okay. And she's standing there staring at me. The mechanic's staring at me, and I'm staring at them. So we're all staring at each other. You mind you, I'm half asleep. I'm dead tired. Drove all day from Fort Worth all the way to Laredo, and got there at 5:30 in the evening. And it is now about 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. So this is what we're doing. I look at my truck. I look at her. She looks at me. I look at him. He looks at her. She looks at me. So is the truck back together? I can go? Well, yeah. She does it. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I said, well, I don't know this because you got the hood open, and I don't know if he took something apart and he can't put it back together again. So I don't know. No, you're good. You're good. You can go. So you want me to close my hood then? I mean, what the hell? So we go inside to pay and argue about the bill on the alignment because I don't ever remember being charged for shims on the alignment. The alignment's $277 plus they want a a $19 environmental fee. I know that's a BS fee. You got to pay it, so I'm good with that. But then they want like $20 in shims that they used. Really? Okay, so whatever. Just bill me and let me fucking get out of here. I gotta go to sleep. And she's being totally a rude douchebag the whole time I'm writing this up, and she's having to explain stuff to me about what I'm being charged, because I want to know why I'm being charged. I thought I was going to pay this much money. You're charging me this much money. I want to know what I'm being charged for. So at the end, I asked her, I said, okay, so did you make a notation in here somewhere that the drain plug is too tight and you can't take it out? So, you know, I have a recourse why you didn't change my oil when I go to another place and, you know, there's a problem. Well, no, of course I didn't, because you were arguing with me about the alignment bill, so I didn't do anything. Oh, well, can you do that? No, we already closed out your ticket. We can't do nothing now. She's so lucky I'm medicated, because, I mean, I was just like, okay, all right, well, I guess then we're done then. But I told her, ma'am, I go, you are the rudest person, customer service friendly person I've ever dealt with in my life. I will be speaking to your manager tomorrow, because this is the worst thing I've ever dealt with, ever. So I tried to talk to the manager. He won't be in until after 9 o'clock. Well, I'm going to be gone until then. I was out of there by 8 o'clock in the morning. So I call about 9:30 on from the road. Oh, the manager won't be in until after 10:30. I'll have him call you. About 2 o'clock comes around. Manager hasn't called, so I call and I get a hold of the manager. Longer story short. Oh, and she, you know, when I told her I was supposed to get a discount on the alignment, she said, no, you don't get a discount. I ended up getting a discount. The manager told me that you get a $12 discount. But then he said, when I said, okay, he said, you get a $12 discount. I said, okay, well, I want my discount. He goes, oh, the steering wheel, they charged me $69 to clock it right. Is that far off when you drive down the road straight? It was that far off, but this way. Now they got it going the other direction. Maybe it's not that far. Maybe it's about that far. So I told him the steering was not clocked right. I go, you know what? Just give me my money back on that. Well, I can't give you your money back because you have to be here in person. So how are you going to give me my $12 discount then? I don't know. So he goes, let me look into some stuff and come back. So he called me back about an hour and a half later, and he said, technically, you got a $30 discount. Why is this wet? He says, if you look down there, discount, $34.10. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's all I wanted, is make sure I got my discount. So what are we gonna do about the steering? Well, just take it to any TA and call me when you get there, and I'll tell them to do it under warranty. No, I don't like that idea, because in a month I can't do it for right away. So it could be a month from now, and in a month you're not going to remember who I am. I'm not going to remember who you are. Yada, yada, yada. I just want my money back. Well, I can't give you your money back. Not unless you drive back to Laredo. So after talking for a while, he goes, let me try something else. And he called me up about an hour or so later and said, nope, can't give you your money back. The best I can do is yada, 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 and, you know, get it warranted somewhere else. I said, okay, well, what about this drain plug? He said, your best bet is, I see your last time you had your oil changed was in Beaumont, Petro in Beaumont. I said, yeah. So your best bet is to take it to them. That way, if there's a problem, they can look it up and go, oh, we did it, so we fucked it up. because he basically said, because I said, don't they torque those bolts in? Yeah. So then if it's too tight, then what happened? Oh, they must have over torqued it. Okay. So that's their fault, right? Absolutely. He goes, yeah, if he goes, let them take it out. If they screw it up taking it out, they can pay for the repairs. He goes, if we do it, we'll have to get them, they're okay to do it, but we can do it if you want to come back here. And I'm like, no, I'm not coming back there. I honestly don't think the guy that was trying to do the PM knew what he was doing. He wasn't the guy who did the alignment. The guy who did the alignment actually seemed like he had some kind of training. Just by the way he was doing things. He was watching his machine and, making his adjustment, watching the machine, making his adjustment, like he cared on about what he's doing. And I'll tell you what, other than he didn't get the steering wheel right, it doesn't pull anymore. So that's good. But the guy doing the oil change, he just freaking walked. I watched him walking around all night just rolling tires around while I was getting my alignment done. He would roll tire in the bay, out of the bay, around the bay, like he's just finding, busy work to make it seem like he's doing something. So I think he probably put a wrench on it, went, nope, I'm too scared. That happened before I had a TA tell me that the drain plug was stripped. And Laredo did it before then, so I took it back to Laredo, and Laredo, I forgot to tell him that it was stripped. They popped it right out, and I said, oh, bro, that plug come out okay? He goes, yeah. I said, it wasn't stripped or nothing? He goes, no. I was like, oh, okay, because so-and-so told me it was stripped. So, needless to say, it was an adventure. I didn't get to bed until after 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock. It was hard to fall asleep with all the BS that was floating through my head. Your blood pressure goes up and whatnot. So I ended up taking a big long nap to drive from Laredo back to Fort Worth. I had to take a big long nap. That's why I'm here so late. But that's what you do as a truck driver. If you don't get your 8 hours of sleep, you just you basically pick up and get your rest on your road. I was able to do. Luckily, this load didn't pick up till later, so I was able to get my 8 hours in before I drove over here. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. Trucking with David H on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it.